Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Mooney. The Supreme Court has overturned the landmark Roe v. Wade ruling that guaranteed a constitutional right to an abortion in a 6-3 vote. It is a momentous break from a half-century of rulings on one of the nation's most controversial issues. About half of the states in the nation have already indicated they will move to ban the procedure, as implementation of abortions now goes back to the states to decide. NBC's Bree Jackson has the details from Washington.
Women's health care taking a serious blow today after a highly anticipated decision. In a 6-3 split, justices on the High Court sided with a Mississippi law that bans almost all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Justices also striking down Roe v. Wade in a 5-4 split, which protected a woman's right to get an abortion for half a century.
I am outraged that now young girls and women and birthing people do not have, depending on what state you live in, do not have self-determination.
Today's decision met with outrage and celebration.
I believe the right to choose. If they want chocolate versus vanilla ice cream, that's fine. But once that choice violates the rights of another human being, they are in the wrong.
Drawing hundreds of protesters to the Supreme Court, rallying for and against abortion rights. President Biden weighing in.
The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
The High Court's ruling comes after a draft opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito was leaked and then made public in May. 4 of the bench's conservative justices agreed, calling Roe egregiously wrong and deeply damaging. In a scathing dissent, the liberal wing of the court says the draconian opinion will curtail women's rights and their status as free and equal citizens. Today's ruling will increase bans on abortions nationwide, with 13 states preparing for trigger laws to take effect immediately.
The right to life has been vindicated.
It's a slap in the face to women about using their own judgment.
50 years of policy abandoned, forcing women across the nation to rethink personal reproductive health care options depending on their home state. In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.
So what does the overturning of Roe v. Wade mean for Arizona? We have team coverage on the impact of the decision in our state. We begin with News 4 Tucson's Chorus Nylander with more on what the local impact could be and how soon you can expect to see change in policies here.
Well, this historic ruling will affect different states in different ways. More than a dozen states have what are called trigger laws. Laws designed to take effect as soon as a ruling like today's were to be made. Arizona is not one of them. But that shouldn't be such a sigh of relief for people who are pro-choice. Arizona is leaning towards policies that favor pro-life. A law signed by Governor Ducey in March added more restrictions on abortion access, limiting the procedure to 15 weeks of pregnancy. That law not set to take effect until September. In response to today's decision, the governor said he is proud Arizona is ranked the most pro-life state. There was a law in the books from 1901, before Arizona was even a state, that criminalizes people who aid in abortions in Arizona. Currently, Arizona has no law in its constitution protecting abortion as a right, leaving plenty of room for legal debates. There are many advocates who are actively trying to change that, though, during the midterm elections, but it remains to be seen if today's Supreme Court decision will silence or amplify the impact of those efforts. Today, leaders from Planned Parenthood Arizona held a virtual media briefing announcing an immediate pause on all abortion services in Arizona.
Arizona is one of the most hostile states to abortion in the country, despite the fact that 7 in 10 Arizonans support access to abortion. It will simply force people to carry unwanted pregnancies or bear the financial burden of traveling hundreds or even thousands of miles away from their homes and their communities for care.
Earlier this month, in anticipation of this decision from the Supreme Court, the Tucson City Council passed a resolution to, quote, protect the bodily autonomy and health of pregnant persons in Tucson. Coming up at 5, you'll hear from a city council member and what today's decision could mean for that resolution. Reporting from downtown Tucson, Chorus Nylander, News 4 Tucson.
Pro-life activists are celebrating today's decision with rallies across the country. News 4 Tucson's Rebecca Taylor has reaction from a pro-life rally in Midtown Tucson today.
About a dozen pro-life advocates gathered outside of Tucson's Planned Parenthood. They're celebrating today, saying it's the decision they've been waiting for. Many in attendance are from churches or faith-based organizations who agree with the Supreme Court that the landmark abortion rights case was, quote, egregiously wrong on a collision course with the Constitution from the day it was decided. Although organizers say the court's decision does not end the debate or their efforts now that it moves to individual states.
Well, I'm very glad, very pleased, very thankful that the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. We've been waiting for this for a long time, but it's a baby step. It's only a first step.
Well, we have been praying for this for decades. So we understand that God created all life.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, you'll hear from a woman who says she recently celebrated the birthday of a child whose mother decided against abortion. From Midtown, I'm Rebecca Taylor, News 4 Tucson.